From a 425-pound tiger in Harlem, to monkeys on the loose in Queens, to an alligator in Central Park, to a shark on the subway. In this episode of That Was the News Then, we take a look back at some of the craziest true animal stories to have happened in New York. Our first animal story takes us back to 1979, when a woman says she was attacked by a rat the size of a cat.
Health officials headed for Lower Manhattan today in a big hurry. They got a report that a woman walking along a sidewalk there was attacked by a rat. Rat bites, of course, can be extremely dangerous, and as far as we know, that woman has not gone for any medical treatment. Health officials would like to find her. They did find the rats.
City officials weren't taking any chances. Rat bites may no longer be fatal, but they can cause rat fever with symptoms resembling a severe case of the flu. What prompted the all-out assault on a pack of so-called super rats was the unofficial report yesterday evening that a woman was bitten by a rat the size of a cat as she walked to her car that was parked on Ann Street, just around the corner from City Hall. Workers from the city's Pest Control Bureau traced the rat's nesting place to what used to be the basement of Ryan's Bar and Grill, which blew up several years ago. While most of the debris from that explosion was carted away, the excavation was fenced in, creating an enticing place for illegal dumpers, a perfect setting for breeding rats from the nearby waterfront. And to compound the problem, health officials found rat droppings and other telltale traces of a rat population estimated to be 200 super rats just a block away in Theater Alley. 125 years ago or so, Theater Alley was as thriving as today's Schubert Alley and served pretty much the same function. But in recent years, with absolutely no help from the restaurants that use the narrow passage, Theater Alley has become Garbage Alley, another part of the rat problem, as the head of the Pest Control Bureau noted.
Restaurant owners do not have private cars, they don't come often enough. The alleyways are used for a dumping place, so therefore the rats will nest there and feed here. So until both conditions are clean and dealt with, we will continually have this kind of problem. And that's why we're here today, to try to deal with the problem of cleaning the vacant lot, plus having the store owners and commercial establishments clean their facilities.
Sanitation officials say they feel confident that they've eliminated this rat's nest, but they say as long as there's sloppy housekeeping in the city, the rat population will thrive. This is Anthony Preisendorf, Channel 5 News.
From a vicious dog to a horse on the loose, these next two animals kept police officers very busy.
8:40 this morning, a vicious dog on Queens Boulevard. Police from the 110th Precinct respond and call the emergency service unit. They carried tranquilizer guns. The dog nipped a woman on the ankle and chased two people up the boulevard. Calmer now, he knew he was in trouble. One cop said that the dog, a male, was angry because this fence kept him from this female dog. With the tranquilizer gun ready, the cops warned people to stay back and then fired the dart into the dog's rump. The stunned animal ran into an alley and crawled under a fence. Drowsy now, it was collared quickly and placed into the trunk of a radio car, where cops gave it a second shot that would keep the dog quiet for about an hour. The dog was taken to the ASPCA, where officials there will determine its future. At about the time the dog started his nap, another animal, this one in Manhattan, also got police attention and tied up traffic around 57th Street and 8th Avenue. Andy Mancuso was sitting in his handsome cab at 52nd Street and 8th Avenue when suddenly his horse
just took off like a bat out of hell.
Mancuso says he controlled the horse through traffic but couldn't stop the animal. It finally stopped on its own in front of a fast food restaurant, then walked onto the sidewalk. No one was hurt. A crowd gathered until police from the mounted unit arrived to take the horse back home to the Chateau stables on West 48th Street. The motive for the dog's frustration in Queens was unrequited love. But it looks as if our horse on 8th Avenue was just trying to beat the 10:30 deadline for Burger King's breakfast special. In Manhattan, Frank Grimes, Channel 5 News.
In 1990, there was no time for monkey business, when 25 monkeys were stolen and got loose in a Queens neighborhood.
You know, they say it's a jungle out there. A lot of wild beasts roam the streets of New York. Just ask the people who live in one Queens neighborhood. They know all about it. John Johnston reports.
Deep within the dark jungle of Queens, there are monkeys on the loose. 25 South American squirrel monkeys were stolen from a company that sells animals to research labs. When the thieves couldn't deal the little swingers, they let them loose. 3 have been caught, but 1 got away from Anthony D'Agostino after he cornered him in his garage.
He was running all around the edges of the garage, just keep going around. We put a cage up there, but there's nothing in now.
For the last 2 weeks, they've been going ape in the Glendale-Ridgewood area, swinging along telephone wires, getting into just about everything.
They went inside a man's car, and they ripped the seats, and he also urinated inside his car.
When the monkeys first got out, there were all kinds of jokes circulating throughout the neighborhood. But when word hit the streets that they could be carrying a disease, and they were seen in this park around small children, all the monkey business stopped. This is Squeakers. Kathy Travers of the ASPCA has had him for a few years, but still doesn't consider him a pet.
This is not a domesticated animal, no matter how nice and adorable and calm they may seem. In a split second, that can change, and you have a wild animal on your hand.
Kathy says the monkeys are not going to jump out of trees and attack, but maintains people should stay away from them and call the ASPCA. Neighbors here are concerned, but still smile and say they always knew they lived in a jungle. Now they have proof. John Johnston, Fox News, Channel 5.
Beware of the raccoon. That was the warning in 1992 when a rabid raccoon got into a home and attacked in Yonkers.
Serious problem in Westchester. Animals like raccoons going after people. Now, normally they wouldn't, but they will if they have rabies. Bob O'Brien reports.
Fairmont Avenue in Yonkers is surrounded by small patches of wooded areas, lots of wildlife. Laura Lennox and her 2 children left the door to their Fairmont Avenue apartment open Wednesday evening when the ice cream truck stopped outside. When they came back, 3-year-old Nico ran inside and suddenly began screaming. Laura Lennox ran inside to find a rabid raccoon attacking her son.
And I saw the raccoon on him. I tried to pull him off. I was shaking him off. And then I got him off, so I ran in the house. By that time, I was outside with him. I ran in the house, and he followed in the house. And then finally, he didn't attack in the house, but I just pulled him outside and closed the door.
Yonkers police officers Timothy Hodges and Kevin Krasuski tried to capture the raccoon, but it was foaming at the mouth and thrashing about wildly. The cops maced the animal, brought it outside, and killed it with 3 shots. Now, Laura Lennox, Nico, and both cops are getting the series of 5 rabies shots that Westchester County Health Commissioner Mark Rappaport says will prevent them from developing the killer disease.
The immunization is 100% effective if given soon after a bite, even though the disease itself, if you get it, is 100% fatal.
Is this a painful process, this rabies immunization series?
No, not at all. Once upon a time, the shots were difficult, but now it's a series of just 5 shots. They're no worse than flu shots in terms of their side effects, and they're given in the arm. So no one should hesitate at all if they've been exposed to call the health department and get the shots if they need them.
Now that the rabies epidemic has reached the New York City area, people are advised to have their pets immunized, especially dogs and cats, and to stay away from all wildlife. If you are scratched, bitten, or even licked by a wild animal, you should call your local health department and ask them what to do.
For this next story, you may want to look away if you have a fear of snakes. Back in 1997, an 8-foot, very hungry python got loose and terrorized a Bronx community.
They say it's a jungle out there, and today it sure was.
Sure was. City cops were saying snakes alive as they got a call to capture a huge 200-pound python at a Bronx apartment. New York City cops in the Mott Haven section of the Bronx wrestled with this real-life reptile relative, an 8-foot, 200-pound Burmese python.
Was he a friendly snake? La culebra estaba brava. It was brave. It was a brave snake. That's what it was.
But the cops weren't laughing. It took nearly a dozen of them to corral the python and cart him off in a garbage can. The reptile shattered the glass in his cage and slithered under a bed.
His head is pretty long and is pretty fat. And he likes eating a lot. He eats hardly every Saturday. And I always watch him eat. He gobbles the hens, the chickens up.
Apparently, the snake hadn't eaten for quite a while. Cops say the snake's owner went on vacation and left a ravenous python unattended for at least 2 weeks.
The bite of a snake is as dangerous as the bite of a cat. It can be very infectious. They often carry salmonella and very painful. But from the snakes, that's really the warning. The pythons in particular will kill by strangulation.
The snake didn't bite Hector Quinones, his owner, but the man was taken to the hospital to be checked out. Experts say that a hungry snake weighing hundreds of pounds is nothing to tangle with.
They can be quite dangerous, and at this size, even an experienced person should have a second person there when they're handling it.
Well, the snake was checked out by animal control experts, and tonight is safe and sound and presumably well fed.
Dogs aren't the only ones to bite. In 1998, one woman bit back after a vicious dog attack.
You know, it's not really news when a dog bites someone, but when someone bites a dog, well, and when that someone's a mom from New Jersey defending her daughter, you know we just had to send Mike Gilliam to check this one out.
Robert Romero's emotions erupted as police and animal control officers removed 2 pit bulls from his Woodbridge home following a vicious attack on another dog. Belinda Bechtold says she was walking past Romero's home with her 2-year-old daughter and shepherd mixed dog when 2 pit bulls jumped a 4-foot-tall fence and attacked. A neighbor took the child to safety, and Bechtold got down and sunk her teeth into the pit bull.
I bit the dog's ear as hard as I could. I guess the surprise of it got the dog to release ever so slightly, and the owner was able to pull it off, and my dog and I were able to flee and go into the house where my daughter was.
What was going through your mind when you decided to bite that dog?
I don't know. I had to save that dog.
Bechtold's dog needed stitches to close throat wounds after the Sunday morning attack. The pit bull's owner, Robert Romero, faces charges for having unleashed, vicious, and unlicensed dogs. At the courthouse, Romero refused to discuss the incident and angrily attacked a Fox 5 camera.
Bro, ready, I said stop!
During a court appearance, a tearful Romero watched as Judge Emery Toth ordered animal control workers to take the dogs. Their fate will be determined later. At Romero's home, a young woman told us the dogs aren't violent and that one had just given birth to puppies. But later, a television producer entered the house and attempted to get an exclusive interview. One of the dogs bit her.
New Jersey has a vicious dog statute. If Robert Romero is found guilty of violating it, he could be sentenced to community service, up to $1,000 in fines, and even 90 days in jail. In Woodbridge, Mike Gilliam, Fox 5 News.
Our next story is about the alligator in Central Park. Yep, you heard that right. An alligator in Central Park.
Well, you know, everybody laughed, and I got to confess I was one of them when we heard that it was an alligator or a crocodile or something, some kind of a monster in the Harlem in Central Park. But when you want to break a big story in this town, who are you going to send in? Penny Crone. Crocodile Penny.
Well, John, someone out here told me there's a distinct difference between a crocodile and an alligator. But whatever you want to call it, we have found it. Now, Bob Briscoe is my photographer. He was out here. Now, we're going to try to get you, this is live TV. We're going to try to get you a picture of it. That's his tail. You see his tail? I got to get out of it. I don't want to shade him. That's his tail. He's about 2 feet long. But all day long, we've been looking for it, and we kind of called it an alligator tail story. So here's the story. It's a city with millions of people and miles of concrete. And then there's this.
I just see nothing. I just see a plant.
The hunt is on. Last Saturday, a couple of people said they saw something more than ducks and geese and grass. Did you ever see an alligator out here?
Yes, there was an alligator, I think the day before yesterday. No, yesterday it was.
You saw it?
No, but we saw the helicopters and everybody was talking about it.
It's now an alligator tail, and it's grown to such proportions, a self-proclaimed Crocodile Dundee has flown all the way from Florida to search the Harlem Mere for the gator. We're hearing you're sending in a team, I want to whisper this, of alligator catchers.
No, we're not sending in anyone to disturb the balance of life in the lake.
Henry Stern and I walked and talked. He told me alligator assaulter Mike Bailey has been banned from breaking the balance of beauty. At least for now.
We're not going to do anything like that. We're going to wait. The lake is fine as it is. If the alligator wishes to reappear, he will. If not, let it be.
But tall alligator tails will never rest. Not in the hearts of true romantics. I heard you say it's what?
3 feet.
How do you know that?
Because a lot of people told me.
Are you guys scared?
Of what?
There's an alligator in there.
Yeah, cool.
You're not scared?
No, I've seen worse.
What have you seen that's worse?
Alligator snapping turtles.
What? Never let it be said, though, that reporters aren't objective.
Where are you?
Well, we found him. Now, we haven't given him a name yet. He's right behind me in these bushes. But Bob Briscoe took this video of him, and we're going to show it to you. He, again, is about 2 feet long. Now, only about 3 people have seen him since last Saturday. Really seen him till our cameras came out here tonight, and we did everything we could to find him. So we just want to let the boss know we're working. Bob, can we real quick give you one more shot? I also want you to know people from the Parks Department are showing up. Now, I don't know what they're going to do. I think that they're probably going to let him rest because he's very quiet tonight, and he seems to be safe right here, and I'm glad I'm on the ground. Reporting live from the Harlem Mere, I'm Penny Crocodile Crone, Fox 5 News. Now back to you, John and Rosanna.
Hey, Penny, is it a crocodile or an alligator?
No, you know what? I'm wrong again. It's an alligator. It's an alligator.
Okay, that's fine. You did a great job. If anybody could find this alligator, we knew you could.
Well, I need the money. What can I tell you? It's a job.
All right, thanks, Ben.
And now we know for sure the story isn't a croc.
There you go.
Settled.
I'm not touching it.
In 2003, a 425-pound tiger living in Harlem attacked his owner.
Antoine Yates, the man who raised that tiger inside his apartment in Harlem, faced a judge for the first time.
Fox 5's Bob DeCastro is outside the courthouse right now in Lower Manhattan with this story for you. Hi there, Bob.
John and Linda, Antoine Yates has just been released from police custody. He was released without bail, but he did stop out here and talk to reporters a little bit about that terrifying attack and says his tiger may have leapt forward because he was a little jealous. Antoine Yates hobbled out of court, his arm in a sling. Yates says he was mauled by the tiger he raised in his Harlem apartment after introducing the big cat to a little kitty he took in named Shadow.
Ming, happened to see the cat, so he charged the cat. And I stepped in front of him, and at the moment of me charging in front of him, his weight happened to push me to the floor.
He says the 425-pound Siberian Bengal mix named Ming let go of his clenching grip after he gave Ming a command to stop.
I said, Ming, no, because when you talk more than one syllable, you kind of confuse them. So I was giving them one syllable at a time, meaning no. And once no happened, Ming go in the bathroom.
Ming is now in an animal sanctuary in Ohio after officers tranquilized him. But Yates could be in a hairy situation with the law. Yates says he's worried about the charges, but he says Ming is his best friend and shouldn't be punished for attacking him.
I'm real worried about the charges because, well, I'm not going to get into that. I'll leave that up to my lawyer. Yes, I'm very worried.
And now Yates is scheduled to appear in court on December the 18th, facing 7 years in prison for a felony charge of reckless endangerment. He also faces several fines for violating the city code of possessing a wild animal. We're live in Lower Manhattan. Bob DeCastro, Fox 5 News.
For our next story, we head just outside of New York to Connecticut. It was like something from a horror movie when a pet chimpanzee attacked and brutally mauled Charla Nash in Stamford.
The brother of the woman mauled by a chimp is speaking out.
And tonight he has a lot to say about the attack that's left his sister disfigured, laying in a Cleveland hospital.
Once again, Fox 5's Lisa Evers is here with more. Lisa.
Well, Ernie and Derry, while Charla Nash fights a daily battle for her survival, her twin brother tries to keep her teenage daughter's life from crumbling. And for everyone involved in this disturbing case, big questions loom on the horizon.
This is how Mike Nash thinks of his twin sister, Charla, smiling, happy, and always willing to help someone else out. But all that changed 3 weeks ago. He told me seeing her in the hospital was heartbreaking.
She lost hands, 4 fingers here and a hand. They had to put the thumb back on, things like that. I mean, it was mauled pretty good, and her face is gone.
There was no doubt about the viciousness of the attack, which was still going on while the chimp's owner, Sandy Harold, called for help for her friend.
He ripped her face off! He ripped her face off? He tried to attack me! Please,
okay, I need you to calm down a little bit. They're on the way.
Captain Richard Conklin was the commanding officer and one of the first on the scene.
It was very horrific because he had blood all over his mouth and area. So it was like something from a horror show.
Charla Nash remains in critical condition at the Cleveland Clinic, alive because of first responders and cops say the efforts of the chimp's owner, Sandy Harold.
She did try valiantly to save her friend.
It's not clear yet whether Mrs. Harold will face any criminal charges. Cops say they're waiting for toxicology reports and other records. They've also been talking to experts.
Many of the animal experts have told us that, chimpanzees, they're very cuddly, funny type of animals when they're small, but when they get about this age, adolescence, in the wild they fight for a position of dominance in their group, and it might just be that wild behavior manifesting itself in this attack.
And Charla's brother told me despite the fact his twin sister nearly lost her life, he's not blaming Travis.
I feel a little sympathy for him because he's in this house in a cage, and he should be out swinging on branches.
Now, Mike Nash says it's way too early to think of any lawsuits, but he was appointed temporary conservator of Charla so he can handle her affairs and look after her daughter.
In 2011, a peacock escaped the Central Park Zoo for a better view.
Well, after close to 24 hours, perched precariously on a ledge 5 stories up here at the corner of 65th Street and 5th Avenue, a 2-year-old male peacock has finally flown home. He left the Central Park Zoo for unknown reasons, but zoo officials think that he finally just got tired and hungry and flew back home, where he shares his environment with 2 other what are called peafowls. Now, this is not the first time a creature in the city has escaped from its confines. Earlier this year, a peahen, a female peacock, escaped from the Bronx Zoo. And also, you may remember, a cobra escaped from the Bronx Zoo as well. And in this case, certainly a bizarre story, one to be filed in the One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest file, and perhaps one of those feel-good stories of the summer. John Huddy, Fox News.
There have been a lot of things left behind on the subway. In the summer of 2013, would you believe someone left behind a shark?
Melissa, what train do you take?
The N.
The N. Well, this was on your train.
What?
You know what that is?
No, what is it? A bowling pin wrapped up.
Looks like a vegetable.
Nope, neither a bowling pin nor a vegetable. That would be a shark discovered on a Queens-bound N train just after midnight by this woman, Yvette Verde.
Of course there's a shark on the train. Why wouldn't it be?
Unflinching despite her ferocious find, Yvette admits she never reported this stiff subway rider. This Miami native starting to sound just like every other New Yorker.
No, you looked under your seat.
No.
There was a shark there earlier.
Oh, I saw that.
How else can I travel during rush hour?
Unlike Jaws, the strap-hanging 4-foot sand shark is harmless, especially because it was found dead. The MTA says it simply dumped the sea creature in a nearby garbage, then cleaned the car. But plenty are already reading this N-train traveling shark's tweets, one inquiring about a solid sushi joint in Flushing, bringing to mind one other relevant question.
You know you're supposed to see something and then say something.
I know, don't tell anyone.
And that was the news then.